think there comes a point in everyone's life when you learn how to be alone. I mean, that phase where somehow you realize that no matter how many people you have around you, there are certain part of life that you have to walk through by yourself. And that's when you start understanding something. At the end of the day, it's just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I remember I read somewhere in a book that at some point of life we reach a stage where all the relationships comes to an end. At that point there is only us and there is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are no parents, no siblings, no friends. It is then that you realize there is no earth beneath our feet, nor there is any sky above our head. There is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holding us even in the complete void. And I think that's what loneliness can teach us. Because when there's nothing around to distract us, we start meeting ourselves. We start noticing our own thoughts, our own heart, our fears, our dreams, our own weakness, and our values. And somewhere in all that silence, we also start getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when we have no one to talk to, we talk to Him. We tell Him everything, the things we don't know how to explain to anyone else. And then you realize that maybe Allah wasn't just trying to make you lonely, make me lonely. Maybe He was teaching us. Maybe He was teaching me that I was never alone. Allah says in the Quran, and He's with you wherever you are. And I think that's such a beautiful and such a comforting thing to remember. And I'm not saying we don't need people. We do need them. I need my family, my friends, extra. That's human. But we also need to learn that our entire sense of worth and peace can't depend on whether someone stays or someone leaves. Because eventually you learn to stand with yourself, and most importantly, you learn where to return when everything else feels uncertain. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are currently in that phase where it feels like you have lost everyone, just don't rush to fill that emptiness. Sit with it for a while. Get to know yourself. Pray, make dua, go outside, take yourself somewhere, do the things you have always wanted to do. Because maybe this season isn't about losing people. Maybe it's about finding yourself and finding your way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And perhaps one day you'll look back at this lonely chapter and realize it wasn't the chapter when you had no one. It was the chapter you finally learned that Allah was enough for you and Allah was enough to carry you through it.